One of People on Español magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People, telenovela star Pablo Lyle had it all. In 2019, he had successfully made the move from the small screen to feature-length films. The 32-year-old was the star of a new Netflix series. Married to his teenage sweetheart and father to 2 beautiful children, Pablo was on top of the world. That all came crashing down in March 2019. In a matter of seconds, with one disastrous and fatal decision, the rising star would lose everything. Hi there, I'm Kevin, and welcome to Just Thought Lounge. Today we're taking a look at the case of Pablo Lyle. An already successful actor, he seemed poised for greater fame and fortune. This is the story about how one split-second decision can take a life and ruin countless others. Let's take a look. Sunday, March 31st, 2019, was a sunny and warm day in Miami, Florida. That evening, Miami police responded to the intersection of Northwest 27th Avenue and 14th Street, where an altercation between 2 men had taken place, sending one to the hospital in critical condition. EMTs had arrived to find 63-year-old Juan Hernandez suffering from a serious impact wound to the back of his head. Juan's blue SUV remained parked near the junction where he had exited the vehicle, reportedly to confront another driver. That confrontation had left him unresponsive, lying in the road. Bystanders had promptly called 911, while the second vehicle involved in the altercation drove off. 2 witnesses to the incident waited patiently at the gas station to speak with officers.
Just one second. You guys saw who was driving the vehicle? Tall young man, about 60, curly hair, brown. That's who was driving, was it? That's the driver. The driver was the one that got off and hit the guy. Okay, so the driver was the one that got off and hit the person. It looked like somebody else was in the car. It looks like someone else was in the car. There's a camera out there too, you guys might be able to. There's a camera there. That's it right there. And there's one right here. What's the man he said? He was just tall. He seems from, I would put him like, he would fit the Tarzan. He looks like Tarzan. And you say it looks like it was a passenger on the front seat also. In my crazy, I remember seeing somebody on the passenger front seat. And that person never got out? No. Okay. All right. Curly hair, like a Tarzan looking person. That's it.
Officers at the scene learned that a red SUV containing at least 1 passenger stopped at the red light ahead of Juan's vehicle, at which time both the driver and front passenger exited their car and had a brief verbal confrontation with Juan on the road. Either the driver or the passenger of the SUV had struck Juan in the street, knocking him backwards towards the ground. A quick-thinking bystander at the gas station ran to photograph the license plate of the red SUV as it drove from the scene. With the plate number, police tracked down the owner of that red vehicle, from which Juan's attacker emerged. The owner was a man named Lucas Delfino. He told police that he was driving, but was not the man who physically attacked Juan. That individual was a family member who was about to board a flight to Mexico at the Miami airport.
He said what happened, but he's saying that he was driving and his cousin was on the passenger side. He went and he dropped off his cousin in the airport. So we have an offender. It can all be BS. We have an offender that's eating on its own right now. His cousin from Mexico. So it's the owner saying he was driving? Huh? Does it look like the description they give? No, because he has like long hair, not long curly.
Information relating to the driver and passenger, as well as the state of Juan's injuries, continued to be relayed to the responders at the scene. Juan was in critical condition, which meant the charge against his attacker was at least at the level of battery, though the charges could easily increase should his situation worsen.
Did he get out of the car or did they open the car? They both got out of the car, started arguing, and then one of them punched him on the side, he fell off.
He's intubated and critical, and they were Sarge, assault's gonna go to the hospital. He goes, the charge would be felony battery, but they need the doctors to let him know. We need to get the doctor's approval, like, all right, because of the fall, he's suffering from this. Then it'll be felony. He goes, if not, what you have is just a simple battery. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't it be odd if he causes severe damage?
Yeah.
But what are you saying, to wait for the doctor to tell you that?
He said to wait for the
Because he knocked him unconscious. I don't know. Should be all right, I'm gonna call. We have the info on the brother that's supposed to be at the airport. For all we know, he's telling him, "Hey, bro, get the hell out of the airport. They're coming for you."
Miami PD proceeded to the airport to apprehend the alleged attacker before he boarded his flight back to Mexico. By that stage, they had learned the passenger was not Lucas Delfino's cousin, but rather his brother-in-law. The man described by witnesses as Tarzan-looking was 32-year-old telenovela actor Pablo Lyle.
It's been a day in flagrante.
He might be brain dead.
So from bleeding, or is it from the fall?
Probably from both.
Yeah,
Whatever, but you know what caused the fall?
The punch.
Yes.
Pablo Lyle.
Pablo Lyle.
L-Y-L.
Okay. All right, I want to go. You just have to go outside of here.
He's in F9.
Oh,
Was she in the bar?
Sergeant Delgado found Pablo waiting at his gate for Miami PD to arrive. The situation was still developing. Upon locating Pablo, he was taken into police custody, though law enforcement remained uncertain of what charges would be brought against him. He faced anything from a simple battery to a potential murder charge. Indeed, upon learning of the tragic development that Juan Hernandez was likely brain dead, it seemed increasingly likely that the soap opera star would face homicide charges.
You got any cycles on you? You're detained at this moment?
right now we're just waiting on the detective to determine the charges. Right now we're holding you. And once you get arrested, we'll be transported to TGK.
Where's that?
That is the prison holding area before you.
Or jail.
Yeah.
He didn't hear you say homicide, did he?
Huh?
He didn't hear you say homicide, did he? Yeah.
Pablo Lyle was escorted to the station where Miami-Dade police took over the investigation.
Could I go inside?
At the station, Pablo told detectives that he had been threatened by Juan Hernandez. The 63-year-old had been the aggressor, exiting his car, yelling and cursing in Spanish, and banging on his brother-in-law's vehicle with his fist. Inside the car had been his wife, his 2 children, as well as his young nephew. As the children began to cry, Lucas got out of the car to confront Juan, forgetting to place the vehicle in park. The SUV rolled towards the intersection as traffic continued to travel around them. Panicked and unable to stop the vehicle, Pablo's reaction was to get out of the car and address the threat in front of him. He claimed that out of fear for the safety of his family, he responded by striking Juan Hernandez, just once, with a closed fist. In the spring of 2019, 32-year-old model and actor Pablo Lyle was a rising star. He had built a career appearing in popular Spanish-language soap operas known as telenovelas. Perhaps his most notable role was in Mi Adorable Maldición, or My Sweet Curse.
Ah, el chato.
El chato, sí.
Ajá, fuerte.
Sí, aquí hacen, crían toros de lidia, se dedican al queso, a la leche.
Impresivo, fantástico.
Sí, es muy linda. Muy linda.
Ajá.
Sí, nosotros hacemos mejor leche.
¿Ah?
Billar también juegan aquí, hombre.
He appeared in a 134-episode run in the leading role of Cristobal in 2014's La Sombra del Pasado, The Shadows of the Past. The next year, Pablo was voted one of People on Español magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People. Later, he starred as love-struck Alonso in Lying Heart.
Que si no me quieres, ¿por qué me respondes el beso?
No te respondí nada.
¿No?
In 2019, Pablo had made the jump from telenovelas to bigger budget drama, as well as full-length movies. That year, he landed the starring role in the Spanish-language Netflix series Yankee. As Malcolm Moriarty, he portrayed a young entrepreneur from Arizona who was on the run from police. He crosses the border to Mexico and becomes entangled with the Mexican drug trade. Pablo had spent over a decade making a living playing conventionally masculine, self-assured, and at times overtly aggressive male heroes. That March, Pablo had been on a 10-day vacation with his wife and children. As the trip came to an end, the family headed back to the airport. That is when he found himself in a real-life confrontation where emotions and aggressions ran high, and he responded. In this instance, however, no one called cut at the end of the scene, and there were real-life consequences. Surveillance cameras, noted by witnesses at the scene, did indeed capture the incident. One angle caught Lucas as he cut off Hernandez in traffic after mistakenly getting off on the wrong exit for the Miami airport. Video then showed Juan angrily getting out of his vehicle. He approached the driver's side window and began berating Lucas Delfino, who proceeded to get out and shout back. As Lucas argued with Juan, Pablo got out to try and stop the SUV from rolling away. He was not successful. Lucas ran back to put it in park. Then, as Juan walked back towards his own car, Pablo ran towards him, making a total of 9 full strides, and punched him as he turned around. Lucas recounted Pablo returning to their car and shouting at him to drive off. Meanwhile, Juan Hernandez was sprawled out on the roadway. Juan had suffered a fracture to the right side of the skull and internal bleeding from the fall onto the pavement. He was declared dead at Jackson Memorial Hospital 4 days later, after his family decided to remove him from life support. Pablo Lyle was indicted for manslaughter.
All that Mr. Lyle knew of Mr. Hernandez was he was a maniac, banging and being violent. A jury will understand that if that's all he knew of Mr. Hernandez, that's also what he would expect of Mr. Hernandez. What this case is about is a man protecting his family.
Here is his family. Take a look at this. What they don't want to talk to you about is this was in the car. His wife, his 2 young children, and another young child. You saw the actions of that man who's now deceased. You saw what he did. He violated the rules, the norms, and the laws of society.
At Pablo's side throughout his initial court appearances was his wife, Ana Araujo, a social media influencer, podcaster, entrepreneur, and sometimes actress. Ana and Pablo had a well-publicized love story. They first met and reportedly fell in love as young teens. Ana was 14 years old and Pablo 16. Their teen romance did not last, but the feelings evidently did. After going their separate ways, the two reconnected 8 years later, and according to Pablo, after seeing Ana again, he felt exactly the same way. They rekindled their relationship, marrying in 2011 and expanding their family in the following years. The couple had one son, Mauro, and shared in raising Ana's daughter, Aranza, from a previous relationship. Pablo's social media showed a loving husband and father who made his family the top priority in his life, or at least on his Instagram. Photos of the family enjoying their Miami vacation prior to the incident showed happier times in the days before their encounter with Juan Hernandez. "63-year-old Juan Hernandez was survived by his adult son, Juan Ricardo Hernandez, and his longtime partner, Mercedes Arce. The family reported spending their life savings on the funeral costs. In the days following his death, Mercedes told the press only that she didn't know what she would do without him, and that she wanted justice. Initially, Pablo was released on a $50,000 bond and instructed to stay on home arrest in Miami. He was fitted with an ankle monitor. As court proceedings moved forward, slowly over many months, his attorneys moved for permission for Pablo to return to Mexico for work.
He should be allowed to return home because he's presumed innocent. He has shown himself to be responsible to this court.
It's 10 months. 10 months Pablo has not been able to work. 10 months Pablo's not been able to feed his family.
What's going to guarantee that he comes back? A few things. First of all, he's posted bond. If he doesn't come back, his family loses everything. And that includes property that his sister and brother-in-law own in Florida, number one. Number two, where's he going to hide? He's an international movie star. He can't hide anywhere. Mexico has an extradition treaty with the United States. When he would be picked up, he would face increased charges, including bail jumping.
You really believe in this case that he is innocent of the charges, that he acted appropriately?
I saw the video. 100% absolutely I do.
Pablo's first line of defense was to have the case dismissed by claiming self-defense under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. That hearing, held in August 2019, was Pablo's opportunity to convince a judge that he had acted out of a fear for his life and that of his family. He took the stand to explain what had led up to him delivering the fatal punch.
Good afternoon. My name is Pablo Lyle, Pablolyle.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Where were you born?
Mazatlan,
And where is that?
in Sinaloa.
And where's that?
It's the state of Mexico. Then I hear this bang, like loud banging on the window, and screaming, cursing, and
Do you recall any words that were being said?
yeah, he said something on in Spanish,
You can do both.
like are you stupid? Are you crazy? Are you an idiot?
Okay.
O sea, estás loco, eres pendejo, eres idiota.
Okay.
While he was banging the window.
And what happened? What did you see happen?
That time I see, we all jumped.
Why did you jump?
We didn't expect it at all.
So what kind of effect did this have on you?
I was really afraid.
Okay.
I was scared. So
And then what happened?
and it got worse because I saw Lucas getting out of the car. So now, it got worse.
Okay.
And
then what happened?
so I try to exit the car, to go there and try to avoid things or whatever. It's my family.
Right.
And at this moment, I realized, well, they were yelling at each other, and my kids were screaming inside the car. At that moment, I saw the car going to the intersection.
So what did you do?
I panicked.
And then what?
I tried to stop the car,
How?
but since it's a crossover, it doesn't have a handbrake. So I tried to reach for the pedal. I wasn't being successful, so I tried to the shifting gear.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What did you try to do? Describe it as best you can.
Yeah, the shifting gear. I tried to move it, and it wasn't moving. So at that moment, I was really afraid, and I tried with all my heart, and I move it. I have accomplished moving it, but it doesn't go all the way, or maybe it does. I don't know, but it moved. So at this, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So at this moment, I hear like tack 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 tack, like something like a gear was. Something wasn't right.
Now what's in front of the car?
It's an intersection.
Continue. What happens next?
So at that moment, when I see the cars not stopping, and I see the intersection, I thought that I could lose my family at that point.
Pablo testified that he perceived Juan's aggressions to be increasing, from hitting his horn, pulling up behind them, banging on their vehicle, and verbally assaulting them. Even as the older man retreated back to his car, Pablo feared the incident was not over, but only escalating.
How do you view him at that moment?
He's a threat.
To whom?
To me, to my family, to everybody.
Did you think about what could happen if he got into his car?
Well, he could have get a gun, or he could have used his car as a weapon, like
How so?
ramming the back of our car.
What's in the back seat of your car?
What's in the back?
Of seat of the car you were in?
My wife, my kids, and my nephew. At that time, he lifts his hands up, and I reacted.
And what did you do?
I punched him.
How many times was he hit?
How many times
Yes.
was he hit?
Yeah.
Once.
Do you think the victim was going to get up and come back to attack after you hit him?
I think he could. I thought at that time he could.
You thought he could get back up?
Yes.
You didn't think he was out cold?
What does that mean?
Anna also told the judge about the experience inside of the car. Through a translator, she testified that Juan was banging loudly on the car. One of her kids hugged her tightly, she said, while the other tried to curl up into a ball. After her husband got out of the SUV, she recalled hearing Juan Hernandez scream nasty things, and he was continuing to be very aggressive.
Quise ayudar a Pablo a poner parking, pero me estaba deteniendo el cinturón de seguridad y Mauro. Pablo logró meter el parking, me volteó a ver y estaba súper asustado. Y el carro no se detuvo, siguió andando y se escuchaba como... Tranquilo, hay niños en el coche, hay niños en el coche. El señor Hernández seguía gritando y...
How was he yelling?
¿Cómo era que gritaba él?
Seguía gritando... O sea, pues groserías. Yo no le entendía bien el acento. Con el corazón y el estómago aquí, mis hijos estaban llorando y estaban haciendo mucho ruido dentro de la camioneta.
Anna did not see the moment that her husband struck Juan. Prosecutors brought Anna's account into question by raising inconsistencies from her sworn testimony to the story provided in deposition. Namely, Juan was also grabbing at Lucas, in addition to shouting.
Now, when Pablo got out of the car, did you see what he did?
No, yo vi que salió y en ese momento solo escuché que gritó, tranquilo, hay niños en el coche, hay niños en el coche.
The ruling from that hearing did not go in Pablo Lyle's favor. Instead, his defense team geared up for a trial, which would be delayed multiple times, finally commencing in autumn 2022. He faced up to 15 years in prison if convicted.
When I show you this picture, I'm not trying to say to you that you should acquit Pablo Lyle because you feel sorry for him. I'm trying to explain to you what he was trying to explain to the detectives. That all four of these precious souls were in the back of that vehicle, that this stranger came upon them.
Got out of his car and was banging on that window, scaring the adults and the three kids. This has been called a case of road rage, and indeed it is a case of road rage. But not road rage by Pablo Lyle, road rage by the deceased. As he approaches Hernandez, Hernandez puts his hands up. He doesn't put his hands up, he puts his hands up, the evidence will show. And Mr. Lyle instinctively, without any intent or thought, hits him once.
Mr. Hernandez doesn't take a fighting stance. When he realizes that someone is running towards him, he turns around and puts his hands up. And the evidence will show that he's going to cause harm, that he is going to strike Mr. Hernandez in the face because he blames Mr. Hernandez for this situation.
That punch that the defendant threw was out of anger, not fear. It was not necessary to protect himself or the lives of anybody else in that car.
The surveillance video of the incident was the most powerful piece of evidence for the state. In addition, they called Maria Rizzo, one of the women who had witnessed the altercation, from a nearby car. She told the jury that she didn't see the victim until Pablo hit him. He literally did nothing but get punched and go down, she stated. Jessica Roca corroborated this account. Juan screamed out for mercy before he went down.
The gentleman went like this to him, like, it's not that serious. And the next thing I saw was a punch. It was one blow. The guy went down, never moved again.
I hear him just scream, "No, no, no, please don't hurt me." And as he's doing that, he puts his hands up, but he puts his hands up like blocking the hit.
Pablo did not take the stand at his trial as he had in the Stand Your Ground hearing. His wife Anna remained the key witness for the defense. She recounted the same story as she had over the previous years since her husband's arrest. This time around, prosecutors attempted to discredit her by suggesting her support of her husband and version of events were a facade. Despite outward appearances, reports were circulating that Anna had been asking for a divorce since Pablo's arrest years earlier. These same reports asserted that Pablo was refusing. He was insistent upon keeping his family together, even as he faced a potential prison sentence. In one of her recent podcast episodes, Anna had referred to Pablo as her ex and spoke about her new life as a single mother.
Yo estaba muy asustada.
I was very scared.
Tenía mucho miedo por mí, por mis hijos.
Very scared for myself, for my children.
Nunca antes me había sentido así.
And I've never ever felt like that.
You said you've been married to Pablo for almost 9 years.
Sí.
Yes.
How long have you been separated?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevan separados?
No estamos separados.
We're not separated.
In her closing argument, prosecutor Gabriela Alfaro told jurors, "This video is not a scene from a soap opera. It's not a scene from a movie. It's not rehearsed. It's not scripted. It's real. It shows you that what he was feeling was not fear. It was anger. It was not necessary to protect himself or anyone in that car." After 5 hours of deliberations, the jury returned.
Verdict. We, the jury, find as follows. As to count 1, manslaughter. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter.
Juan's longtime partner, Mercedes, broke down in court following the reading of the verdict. Pablo's sentencing hearing took place in early February 2023. He spoke at length to the court about his regret for his actions. He apologized to the family of Juan Hernandez in both English and Spanish.
I can only imagine the pain of losing a loved one. Someone that important, especially in a situation like this. And I pray that this day will bring you closure, and that whatever happens today, you can leave this courtroom with rest in your hearts. That Mr. Hernandez lost his life because of something I did. Something that walks with me. It haunts me when I go to bed. And it's still there when I wake up. I never wanted any of this to happen. I never in my wildest dreams could have imagined something like this could have happened. That a life could be lost and so many others affected so drastically in just a matter of seconds and one punch. Today I want to take this opportunity I was denied in the past to tell you, as Mercedes, to tell you, Juan Ricardo, that I'm sorry. That I am so very sorry from the bottom of my heart.
Judge Marissa Tinkler Mendez believed that Pablo's actions on that day had been out of character. Pablo did not have a violent past or history of any aggressive behavior. She believed that he had been sincere in his testimony when he asserted that he reacted out of a desire to protect his family. Nonetheless, the video of the incident was clear. By the time he threw that fatal punch, any threat that had been posed by Juan Hernandez had ceased. Pablo had acted out of anger or perhaps insult.
The court hereby sentences Mr. Lyle to a term of 5 years Florida State Prison, followed by a term of 8 years of reporting probation. Mr. Lyle is required to engage in conflict resolution, anger management classes, and teaching.
With good behavior, Pablo could potentially be released as early as December 2026. Since his conviction, Juan's son, Juan Ricardo, and Mercedes have filed a civil suit against Pablo Lyle, seeking compensation for funeral expenses, psychological support, and the loss of income. Having fired his original team, Pablo is currently without legal representation to fight this lawsuit. Ana Araujo did indeed file for divorce from Pablo. However, contrary to the reporting at the time, media reports now state that she had done so prior to his arrest in Miami back in March 2019. Following Pablo's indictment, Ana placed a pause on the divorce proceedings, choosing to stand by his side until after his sentencing. She has since returned to Mexico with their children. Pablo is currently incarcerated in South Florida. That was the tragic case of Juan Hernandez and the downfall of rising star Pablo Lyle. Thank you for joining me, and a special thanks this week to M. Malone, Susanna Walters, and last but not least, Keisha, for joining our Members Lounge. I'm Kevin, this is Just Thought Lounge, and I'll see you in the next one.
Gotta be selective, doing all the research, keeping it objective, always been effective, can say he got a knack, pick of the litter, you see how Newton got his back, yeah, the content that you need, this could be a new sign, we talk in the comments, they jot in a few lines, tune in and hit like, love that, it's too kind, feels like the whole world is on